What is up, guys? In today's video we're going to be talking about the Huntress DMR, because with the recent nerfs to the Reaper sniper rifle, I think this weapon has gotten better by comparison, even though it's always been like pretty good this entire season. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of the Huntress DMR, or if you're still going to be using the Reaper sniper rifle. So if you were unaware, last week Fortnite nerfed the Reaper sniper rifle again, making it have more bullet drop and making the bullets travel slower. This makes it much harder to use because you're going to have to lead targets more. You're going to have to relearn the bullet drop. And when you're like leading people that are moving or using any sort of mobility item, those are situations where this nerf is going to be most impactful. Even if the opponent is standing still, you're going to have to lead more than you did in the past. But anytime they're moving, I think this is where like you'll notice this change most. I still think the sniper will be very good, and as people get used to the bullet drop, they'll be more comfortable with it. It's just a little more difficult to use. And then this update also further reduced the drop rate of the sniper, just making it harder to find. And I do have a video that will be linked in the description down below where I show the NPCs that you can buy the Reaper sniper rifle from or get the Reaper sniper. But if you just don't want to land on an NPC every game, it can be tough to find a sniper, especially in squads. Like in solos, it's not that big of a deal. Duos, it gets harder, but still shouldn't be that big of a deal. Trios and squads, having to find 3 or 4 of them so that everybody in the squad has one is just rough, and it's just way less likely to have happen. And so if you are playing those team game modes, I feel like you're going to be the people most impacted by this if everybody in your team wants to snipe. So in this video we're going to be talking about the Huntress DMR because I think it's very good. It's been good all season long, and kind of the gap between the Reaper sniper rifle and the Huntress DMR just keeps shrinking because recently the Huntress DMR also got a buff increasing its damage, and then I don't remember if they increased the bullet travel speed or reduced the bullet drop on the DMR, but they did one of those or both of those things, making it to where you don't have to worry about bullet drop or lead as much. And depending on the rarity of Huntress DMR you have, you'll be doing around 60 to 70 body damage and 100 plus headshot damage on a weapon that has pretty much no bullet drop at all. And that honestly has been the hardest thing about using it for me and getting used to it, is my brain kind of wants to lead targets and like aim above people more often. And you really don't need to do that at all with the Huntress DMR. You could just play it like it's hit scan and you're going to be golden in most fights. That is its main strength, I think, is that it's just much easier to use than the Reaper sniper rifle. The Reaper sniper has a lot more upside because you can just get a headshot and insta-kill or insta-knock somebody, you know? But you have to worry about that bullet drop, and you have to learn that bullet drop. And if you're someone that like just doesn't want to learn the bullet drop, maybe you don't have as much time to play and you're tired of having to relearn it over and over and over again, or you just can't get a feel for it for whatever reason, I think you can pick up the Huntress DMR, aim on the person, hit your shots, and do damage. And with the sniper nerf, it's harder to use, so more people are going to be missing shots, you know? And that kind of opens up a little bit of room for the DMR. When the sniper was really prevalent and really easy to use, and everybody you fought against was going to have a sniper and probably have decent aim with it, then peeking into them with the DMR was just rough, you know? And it's still going to be rough, but people's accuracy is going to be worse now, probably, at least in the short term. And also, the weapon should be less prevalent, so it's not like everybody you fight from the moment you start the game has a sniper. And I've kind of been using the DMR like this for a while now, like pretty much all season, I think, is like if I didn't have a sniper, I would run the DMR in that slot. And it's not great, but at least it was something for long range, especially early game if I don't have a sight on my Warforged AR. I think DMR did that just fine. And now the gap between them got smaller, I think. But I still think the Reaper sniper is good. But there are people out there where I think the DMR might be a better option for you. And it is a fine option on its own. It's just a good weapon. I also think the recoil on this weapon throws a lot of people off, because it doesn't have a lot of recoil, but it does have some bounce, and it's kind of weird to compensate because it is like a single shot weapon. When using the Warforged AR, you can kind of just drag your aim down and then kind of keep it steady. But with the single shot, it like kicks up a lot every shot. So I feel like if you are going to be using the DMR, it might be best to just shoot it at like 80% of its fire rate. That's kind of like what I do. I don't try to spam it as fast as I can. I kind of let the recoil reset a little bit. It doesn't have the highest fire rate anyway, so it's not like you're losing out on much, but like just shoot it almost as fast as you can shoot it, and I feel like the recoil is really manageable. And that would be like the 2 tips I have for people using this weapon is treat it like it's hit scan. Don't shoot it as fast as it can shoot. Just hit your shots, shoot it a little bit slower. And I think you'll be able to dish out a lot of damage over the course of a fight. And if you are playing team game modes, being able to take this weapon, use it consistently and get damage out of it is going to be nice, because I'm sure we've all had those moments where you're playing with your teammates, you know, and like you're not hitting snipes, your teammates aren't hitting snipes, and it probably would have been better if somebody was just using something that did a little bit less damage but actually like hit their shots, you know. The DMR is probably going to be that for a lot of people now. If you have like a really hard time adjusting to the new drop. And I also see a lot of people peeking way too hard with the DMR. I think if you're in a situation where the opponent can shoot back, it's best to just kind of dip in and out of cover, throw out your 60 plus damage shots, and then maybe after you hit a few or after you hit a headshot, then you push the opponent. Especially when playing at snipers, I don't think you want to just be standing there holding an angle, because your upside isn't as high as theirs. You might hit them 100 plus for a headshot, they headshot you, you're back to the lobby, or you're like knocked on the ground, you know, depending on what game mode you're playing or if like how many teammates are left alive. But even in like mid-range fights, I think if you're holding an angle with the DMR versus like a peeking AR player, I think you're going to lose that damage race unless you just hit like several lucky headshots. So I think you just want to like peek in and out of cover constantly with the DMR. Don't peek the same angle too much. Maybe peek from like the top of a box, one shot, and then peek from the right and then from the left. You know, you kind of vary up how you're peeking and just chip out damage over the course of the fight rather than just hard peeking and getting fried. Because like, I just think that's kind of what this weapon does well, is like solid burst damage. You know, one shot could do 60. It doesn't do all of its damage in an instant, and it doesn't really do like consistent damage over time like how the Warforged are. So I think just kind of peeking in and out of cover and limiting your exposure and only peeking when you're going to shoot is great with this weapon. And then once you get a decent amount of damage on the opponent, maybe a headshot and a body shot or a few body shots, then you can kind of treat it like how you would with a sniper. When you body someone, you can just like shockwave onto them, push them, and then take that damage advantage you have, make it easier to win your close range fight. So that's how I would use the DMR. Treat it like a tit scan. Don't shoot it as fast as you can shoot it, and just constantly be peeking in and out of cover with it rather than peeking the entire time. For attachments with this weapon, I like to use either the 4X or the thermal, the speed mag, but if you like drum mag, that's fine. Angled foregrip and muzzle brake. You could use vertical foregrip and muzzle brake, but I feel like even with all recoil controlling attachments, you still kind of run into that problem where the recoil is weird. It's not just 0. So I feel like even when I had all recoil attachments, I was still letting a brief pause between shots anyways. So that's why I do angled for faster aim down sight. It kind of helps with like the peeking in and out of cover, you know. You could maybe use like the faster strafe attachment if you wanted as well. And then muzzle brake, I just use for lower recoil because I really don't like the feel of this weapon when it's suppressed for whatever reason. That's just me. And if you are someone who's going to go to the radio towers, I think the radio tower boss drops a guaranteed purple DMR every time. And if you like the mythic, the Zeus mythic at Mount Olympus actually has really good attachments. I think it has the exact setup that I just outlined with 4X speed mag, angled, and muzzle brake. So I think the DMR is good. I think the sniper is a bit better. I think the sniper has a higher ceiling for sure, but the average level of the DMR is probably going to be a bit higher, especially now with the Reaper sniper being harder to use. So even if you don't like the DMR and you want to use it every game instead of a sniper, it might be worth getting used to this weapon and kind of like trying it out and getting good with it, because the Reaper sniper is harder to find now. But that is going to be it for this video. I'm going to let some gameplay play out that I got using the Huntress DMR, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Or fencing, whatever it's called on this map. Jeez. You have a gold one with drum mag. No more shocks though, unluckily. Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree orbital. Unranked squads has the most bots of any playlist. Yeah, I'd agree. But it's like, also, I feel like as far as like pubs go or unranked, if you play aggressive, you usually tend to deal with like the more threatening players earlier on in the game, regardless if it's solos, duos, shared squads. Because like the other sweaty teams or players are usually also playing somewhat aggressive or are going to try to third party you if you're getting in lots of fights. That's why I said that. Like, I don't think the game mode really matters. Ranked is like very different. Obviously, people play differently, but in pubs, like the better teams or the better players, especially like this, you know, late into the game, tend to be playing aggro. Dude, Cerberus Medallion is too good. What is that guy supposed to even do there? There's nothing